want to welcome you tonight to the Alumni Awards Dinner. Before I have Jason give the invocation, I would like to have a moment of silence to recognize those past Alumni Hall of Famers and Athletic Hall of Famers and those past Morehead State University alumni who have passed away, and especially for Dan Swartz, who passed away yesterday. So could we have a moment of silence, please? Amen. This time I would like to introduce Jason Newland, SGA President, Student Representative on the Alumni Association Board, and Student Representative on the Board of Regents, to give the invocation. Jason?
Let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so very thankful for the glorious day you have provided as we begin our 75th anniversary. We are very grateful for all of our friends being able to return to campus in a celebration of the good fortunes you've bestowed upon our university. Please bless the hands that have prepared this meal. May it nourish our minds and bodies. And please continue to be with those people who have dedicated their time and effort to the betterment of our university. In your name we pray. Amen. Enjoy your meal.
I'm Jack Webb, the proud president of the Morehead State University Alumni Association. It is a great honor to be president of this association at this time and date in Morehead State University's history. So many things and so many exciting things are going on here at the university now. And we're looking forward, of course, to a great year for the 75th anniversary celebration. I would like to first of all introduce the head table. Starting to my right, I would like to introduce Erin Huey. Erin is the new SGA president. Suzette. Suzette indicated that she hadn't been introduced that way before, so. As I introduce the head table, I also want to introduce some of the supporting cast as well. So the next individual is President Ronald Eaglin. In the audience, I would like to introduce Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, John Philly. John. Vice President of University Advancement, Keith Capus. Capus is correct. I'd like to introduce Vice President of Physical Affairs and Administration, Porter Daly. Porter. Vice President of Student Life, Mike Mincy. Mike. Next to the President, I would like to introduce Suzette Redwine. Was the chairperson of today's activity, and with her she did have a supporting cast, but without Suzette I don't know if we could have pulled today off. So would all of Suzette's committee stand up and be recognized? The Founders Day Committee. Thank you so much, Suzette, for putting this together. To my left, we have Bill Redwine, Devaney's dad. Bill is the Director of Alumni Affairs as well as Director of Development. And I would like to have the Alumni Board stand. I guess the Alumni Board of Directors They're my supporting cast. And Bill's supporting cast, the alumni staff. Tammy? Who else do we have? Thank you. The First Lady, of course, and the President's supporting, another supporting staff of the President. Bonnie Eaglin. Do you want your supporting staff to stand? I want Bonnie Eaglin supporting staff, the Gala supporting staff to stand, and the 75th anniversary supporting staff to stand. How's that?
That's good. That's very good.
Is that correct?
Yep, 170.
Next we have Jason Bryant, which I've already introduced. And last, down on the end, is my wonderful wife, Joey. It was interesting today, Dr. Eaglin mentioned when he left and came to Morehead, when he left his last university, he said very few people were upset to see him leave, but they were very upset to see Bonnie leave. They cried and everything. The other day, Joey and I were at Sam's Club. We ran into an ex-employee of mine. I've been superintendent of schools in Greenup County for 10 years. And then this ex-employee of mine, he walked up and he started talking to Joey. And they talked for 15 or 20 minutes. You know, you look great, all of this back, you know, here I stood. Finally, he walked away. I said, well, good to see you. Oh, hi, Jack, you know. And so I guess I'm Joey's supporting staff instead of she's not my supporting staff. So I know how that is. Seems like presidents of universities and ex-superintendents sometimes, or superintendents, fall under the same level. They do get in trouble. Another individual I would like to introduce is Senator Walter Blevins. Today has been a very exciting day. Started, of course, with the breakfast, and I wimped out on the breakfast. It was just too much, just too early to get up. So I didn't make it to the breakfast this morning. I did make it to convocation, and I heard a fellow Greenup County boy by the name of Ron Lewis give a very inspirational speech. Representative Lewis was raised at Red Hot, Kentucky in Greenup County, just up Tiger Creek from where I was raised. So we were neighbors, and it's very, very proud to know someone that has been very successful, and as Ron has been, not only as a Greenup County boy, but as a graduate of Morehead State University. We made it over here to lunch and had our Founders Day luncheon and had many special awards, and many individuals were recognized. Many of the fellows, I think we had, 31 fellows that were inducted, and that's terrific to have that many. After the luncheon, we walked up the street here to the bell tower, and it was dedicated. Paul and Lucille Little bell tower, and to me this was something that pulled together a true act of celebration. It seems like it pulled the connection of the past and the future, because that bell tower is going to be there for many, many years for students to see and to enjoy. And that, I think, was something so important, and I was so happy that it was completed for Founders Day today and that it was dedicated today. And we do want to thank the Little family for presenting the bell tower to this university. So this evening is the final, I guess, hurrah for the day. Oh, no, we did finally have dessert. We finally had dessert on the President's lawn, ice cream social, and that was enjoyed by all, and we did enjoy that. Now we're at the last event of the day. We're here to honor the Morehead State University alumni and others that have made the university great. So at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Bill Redwine, and he will make the special Alumni Hall of Fame presentations.
Thank you, Jack. As Jack said, what a great day this has been. This is a great activity to end the day with, and we always look forward each year to the Alumni Hall of Fame induction. And as long as I've been in the alumni office now since 1987, it's been a thrill for me to be able to participate in this activity and to present to you the outstanding alumni of the university. But when I get to have an opportunity like tonight to present three individuals who I already know and already been acquainted with before their selection, that makes it even more special for me. I've had an opportunity to meet lots of folks, but these three individuals I already knew, was acquainted with, so they're extra special. The three individuals have distinguished themselves, as most of you know and have read, in their profession and in the state and the country and the United States, so we're really proud that the three of them could be here tonight. Our first inductee, U.S. Army Colonel Mark Dilley, class of 1973, currently is Chief of Staff, the 3rd Corps Support Command in Wiesbaden, Germany. Dilley earned his A.B. degree in education, was commissioned a 2nd Lieutenant in the United States Army through Morehead State University's ROTC program. As an MSU student, he played on the 1973 Ohio Valley Conference Championship baseball team. Moving up through the ranks as a truck company commander and battalion staff officer, he completed advanced officer courses in transportation and logistics and holds a master's degree in logistics management. He's also attended the Army War College, has served as an executive officer of the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault Division Support Command. He's authorized to wear the Air Assault Badge, and he also earned the Bronze Star, the Meritorious Service Medal, and the Army Commendation Medal. In July, the Dayton, Ohio native will take command of the 16th Corps Support Group in Hanau, Germany, with a troop strength of 2,500 men and women. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Mark Dilley.
Hello, friends. Whoop, is this on? You hear me back there? Okay. It's good to be home again at Morehead. I see a lot of friends out here, and again, I want to say hello to you all. I've been here for about a day and a half now and visited with several of my close friends here at Morehead, and it's been kind of special to be back. I left the field of Germany about 2 days ago and flew the old red-eye over here and got over and trying to get this time zone thing sorted out. So just bear with me. And oh, by the way, I did catch a little bit of a cold on the way over, so if you just bear with me as I move through this little talk with you. It's with great honor and extreme pleasure that I'm here tonight. I want to thank the Alumni Board of Directors for inducting me into the Alumni Hall of Fame. This induction is clearly one of the true highlights of my life. To the other two inductees, Dr. Dorn and Linda Steiner. General Douglas MacArthur said, "On the fields of friendly strife are sown the seeds, which in other years, on different fields, will bear the fruits of victory." These words ring especially true for me, and as a soldier, they have even more special meaning. I am only able to be here tonight because I left behind the fields of victory and the command to which I belong. while it trains for the future conflicts that we may face in Grafenwehr, Germany. This was not an easy decision for me to make. As you know, a leader's heart is with his soldiers, his family, and his command. But because as a leader, the lessons I have learned right here at Morehead State University are magnified in my military life. For it is you, the people of Morehead State University, that bring me back home. The very special people like Dean Duncan, Coach Allen, and Dr. Bentley, who spent 6 weeks of their precious summer prior to my freshman year helping me become eligible here. These people, and many more like them, have made what was a very young and unprepared student that showed up here in 1968 into a full-time student, athlete, and finally graduate in 1973. These goals were not achieved with the help of a machine or computer, but with the help of the wonderful human beings that seems to find this university in droves. A few of them come to mind. My good friend Steve Hamilton, Dr. Sweeney, Drs. Luke, Jim Cottle, Mickey Wells, Jim Wells, Colonel Kelly, the first professor of military science that I remember serving with so graciously here, Jake Hollum, the most energetic football coach I've seen at Morehead State, Coach Mack, Coach Sadler, Keith Capus, good old Officer Kirk, who got many of us home at nights to make sure we got up to school for the next day. And my good friend, old Vernon, the bus driver, who after 15 years of being gone at Morehead State, I found him sitting in his bus at Austin Peay State University, and we had a long conversation. And of course, the person who kept all the faculty focused on caring for students, Dr. Adrienne Dorn, known by all as Mr. President. These are the many reasons I left Germany to be here with you tonight. Now I want to recommend whose mentoring has followed me all the way from MSU to the fields of combat in Southwest Asia. That man is Coach John Sonny Allen. Coach, you have and will always mean more to me than you will ever know. You have been one of the greatest influences in my life. You taught me and so many others so much, not just about basic, but about life in general. These lessons paid off in places you will never know. But it's not just to me that you have given so much. You have made boys to men. You prepared students for the harsh realities of real life. And all of us, a debt of gratitude. You are truly a positive role model, a great American of the highest standard. Allen, you are a true national treasure, sitting right here at Morehead, Kentucky. Coach, my heartfelt thanks for you and all you've done to make me successful. As any alumni does when they return to their hallowed halls of learning and growing, I must recall some special memories at MSU. Of course, one of my favorites, I talked with Coach Allen a few minutes ago, it's the time that Dr. Dorn would come and visit the dugouts, and he came regularly, and he put his ball cap on, and he sat in there and helped. Well, one day I think he was helping a little bit too much as he questioned one of Coach's calls. Coach turned around very politely and went to Dr. Dorn and said, "Sir," he says, "I don't tell you how to run your university, so don't tell me how to run my ball team." And Dr. Dorn sat back, pulled his cap down a little bit, and didn't say another word, and won the ball game. But Dr. Dorn, it's great to have you in our dugout. I can tell you, it was just wonderful times to have the president there with us very closely. And then there's the other story that I'm sure Dr. Dorn remembers, and a few others in the room. We had the brand new ROTC building right across the way, put the new gymnasium in. was a beautiful facility. They dropped the ceilings, put the new floor in, and Coach Allen worked real hard with the commandant at the ROTC department and said, I'd like the baseball team to be able to work out in here in the winter months. And Colonel Kelly was gracious enough to say, okay, Coach, I trust you. I'll let you work out. Be careful. Don't scar up the walls, and be careful of our brand new facility. First day of practice, one of the players picks up a bat, hits a ball, busts the sprinkler, floods the whole auditorium, ruins the offices underneath, and somehow, some way, we talked to and Colonel Kelly and convinced him. But it was a true memory at Morehead State. To my baseball friends and teammates, annually support MSU and the baseball program. Val Falcone, Glenn McDaniel, Jimmy Barron, Rabbit Richards, Gary Gress. The names go on and on. These are great people, and we stay in contact and stay together like most Morehead athletes do. Next, as mentioned by Bill, was in 1973. I said next year because I had 1 year of eligibility left to play on that baseball team. It meant a lot to me, and I very proudly wear my championship ring that Coach designed. It's a very special meaning. It was surely a highlight of my years at Morehead State. And one last thing about the baseball program, I just wish that one time I snuck out of the locker room of those balls, but old Jimmy Wells, he had an eye for everything. Couldn't get one thing past him. Also can recall standing up in the gymnasium of Weatherby, being led by Mrs. Dorn on the organ, singing the MSU fight song. I kind of forget the words, but I can remember we all stood up and said, fight, 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 fight. What a special memory. We packed the rafters. It was a great time. And to Steve Hamilton, he and I shared some special times yesterday in his office. As I sat with him in his last baseball game at MTSU down in Middle Tennessee, his final game as a coach. And what a special time for him, and truly an honor and special time for me to be there and share that event. And just like Coach Hamilton is such an embracing person, as you all know, he asked me to come and sit in a dugout with him, and we sat up there together the whole game. And Steve, it was just a very special moment for me, and you and I shared a tear over that in your office yesterday. It's one of those great memories I always have of Morehead and being there with you. As you all know, Steve's going through some tough times right now with some health issues. And Steve, I will tell you, it's three things. It's your faith, your family, and your friends that will bring you through. We'll be with you. In closing, again, thank you, the Alumni Board of Directors, for this great honor. This is clearly a major highlight in my life. And of course, to the so very special people sitting right here, most of you, of Morehead State University, both past and present, my sincere thanks. For it is you, the people of Morehead State, that make this university a great place for students and athletes to prepare for their future. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Our next inductee, Linda Steiner, class of 1984, is again one of those folks that I have the privilege of having been acquainted with before. Share a little story about Linda. Not too long after I became director of alumni relations, we had an opportunity to send someone from the university to New York City to represent MSU at an activity with Phil Simms. And there was some conflicts with scheduling and everything. The president couldn't go, the vice president couldn't go, so I got selected to go. Country boy from Sandy Hook, first time I'd ever been in New York City. It was a real experience for me. So Suzette and I went, and we had, as I usually do when I'm traveling, I'd scanned our computer system and looked to see who was there, and came up with this name, Linda Steiner. And I said, well, it'll be neat to try to give Linda a call when we get there. we got to New York City totally unannounced, Linda, and I had pulled her office phone number from our computer system. We got checked in at the hotel, called her and said, "We're in town. Are you busy?" Well, to say that, she was tied up in a meeting at that time. We found out where her office was. We walked down the street, walked in totally unannounced, and here was a lady working at ABC television, telephones ringing like crazy, a busy schedule, and she took time out to sit for about an hour with us in the office and just visit and reminisce about Morehead. So the things that Mark talked about, the friendships and the relationships you build, that's what makes our alumni special. Linda is president and executive producer of 1.85 film productions and former vice president of ABC Children's Entertainment. She earned her AB degree in radio and television and advertising and public relations. While with ABC Children's Entertainment, she directed and managed the creative development, production, marketing, and scheduling of ABC's 5 hours of Saturday morning program for children. Any of you that have kids know how wild that is. As well as the network's award-winning after-school specials. She also was responsible for the creation, production, and marketing of the educational series Schoolhouse Rock. Today, her own company creates children's and family programs for ABC, CBS, Fox, Nickelodeon, and the Disney Channel. The Lexington native, who now resides in Glendale, California, has won multiple Emmy Awards and is the recipient of the Humanitas Prize for Outstanding Achievement in the creation of television programs and feature films which, quote, fully communicate enriching human values. Ladies and gentlemen, Linda Steiner.
Thank you. Bill, you have a better memory than I do, I think. I do remember that, actually, and I think I remember coming to the ceremony, and I would kind of have the same feeling as Colonel was mentioning. I walked in, and you had banners and the fight song playing, and yeah, it was one of the highlights. And always remembering Morehead, and certainly coming back here. I haven't been back to the campus since I left, and I think it was simply because I left Kentucky in general after I drove out of here. And I actually have a confession to make, that I have this habit in LA where I get mail, and everything is, it seems like you're always in such a hurry. I tend to pile mail up that I think might be junk mail. Now, I would never call anything from the Alumni Association junk mail. But I look at it and I say, I want to send money, I want to get more involved, so it kind of goes into a pile. A couple of weeks passed. One Friday night at 10 o'clock, I thought, okay, I need to go through the mail. I open up an envelope, which I thought was going to tell me something about events coming up. Dear Linda, congratulations. You've been nominated to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. Well, I'm still learning lessons from Morehead, because I will never put mail aside for 2 weeks ever. And I had to hustle up, and I called Bill, and he said, yeah, we wondered if we were going to hear from you. And, well, I've been traveling, but I've learned. So I thank Morehead. I still learn lessons from this school. And actually, I don't think I can really describe the honor. That night, it was 10 o'clock in LA, and I called my parents at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was so excited. They were going out of the country the next morning, getting up at 4. But since I finally opened the mail, I thought everybody had to know, no matter what time it was. So it really does mean a lot to me. And I'm really honored with the company of the other inductees. I can't tell you how honored I am. And my first thought was, well, a television producer next to an educator and a colonel. But I guess we're all in our own way trying to contribute. My focus is family entertainment and children's entertainment. And there are a lot of people that certainly have bad opinions of TV in general for kids, and I think I take a Kentucky point of view and really grounded in family into entertainment. So that's the one way I could kind of say, okay, maybe I'm worthy. I'm still not sure completely, but I'm very honored. I want to just mention some friends that came with me first, and just get into a little bit of just what I think Morehead offered me. When we were driving up here, my friend Joy, who came with my husband and I, we had about 3 or 4 cars coming up all today. Joy asked me, she's known me since 8th grade, and she said, you know, you always wanted to go to Morehead. In 8th grade, when I was thinking about what was going to be on TV that night or what the homework was, you were talking about going to Morehead. And why? I never understood. What was it? You were so obsessed about Morehead. And I'd heard somebody who had an older brother who was in the TV program. And in 8th grade, I heard you could go to college and study radio TV. And I thought, that's it. I never thought about another school. Morehead was it for me, and it never let me down. Professors like Tom Yancey and Dr. Beal, I'll forever be indebted to. I think the school offers students, if you take the opportunity, internships, all kinds of programs you can study abroad, and I really felt like this school gave me the opportunity and gave me confidence to be able to leave Kentucky and go to New York. Anybody that ever asked me, I was obsessed since 4 years old, and I did want to be in TV, so that was kind of something I guess I was born with. But not every school gives you the support and the encouragement like Morehead does, and I learned that a lot as I run into people along the way who've gone to other schools and haven't really been as blessed with the opportunities. People that came with me today, Lisa Browning, who didn't travel with us, but I want to certainly thank her and her support. Dana Newman, she was Dana Graham Newman, who now is from LA. She's a graduate and from the radio TV program, and my little sister in the sorority, and there was no way I was coming here from LA without Dana, so we got Dana out here. My friend Joy Mackey, who came in from Lexington. Mandy and Rob Miller, who traveled in from Ohio, who I met Mandy working in children's television in New York. My brother David from Montana. My mother-in-law, Babe. I feel like this is an Academy Award acceptance speech, and I'm sorry, but I may not ever get the chance. So, Babe Bullman, my mother-in-law from North Dakota. I don't think I can tell you, Bill, or any of the board members completely how I feel, and I thank you and Suzette and everyone at Morehead. It is an honor. I don't think anything would ever match it, so I thank you very much. I also want to thank Con and Betsy Steiner. I think that, and I've always believed this, and in much of our programming, one of my things that I try to incorporate in all shows for kids, in particular girls, because I think it's harder for girls to grow up now, but I try to incorporate self-esteem issues and confidence, just anything that kids can pick up, and they certainly pick up a lot of messages from TV. But I think one of the things that I've always believed in the most is the more you can give a child as far as encouragement and freedom, the more that they are going to have the wherewithal to pursue their dreams. I knew this would be the emotional part. To pursue their dreams and really have the confidence to go forward. The more freedom you have, I think the more confident child you have. And I thank my parents for giving me that freedom. And I really want to thank Morehead for giving me the tools to pursue the dreams. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Dr. Adrienne Dorn. Considered by many as the father of the institution of modern times, served as Morehead State University's 7th president from 1954 to 1977. A 2-time graduate of Murray State University with a doctorate in education from the University of Kentucky. He also served 4 terms in the Kentucky House of Representatives, including 1 as Speaker of the House. Active nationally, Dr. Dorn was the 1971 recipient of the Horatio Alger Award given by the Association of American Schools and Colleges. He also received the Lincoln Key Award from the Kentucky Education Association and the Lincoln Foundation for the integration of MSU without fanfare or incident. A minister of the Church of Christ since 1928, today Dr. Dorn resides in Lexington and devotes much of his time to research, writing, and lecturing on the history of the American Restoration Movement. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Adrienne Dorn.
I really hadn't expected to make a speech tonight, and I did not come prepared. Some of you goons sitting out there grinning as if you never heard me pass up an opportunity to make a speech. 75 years of an institution of higher education assisted by the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Mignon and I have been associated with this institution for over half of that time. Some of the greatest joys that we experienced in our former days were written in the soil of this site and in our own hearts by the alumni of Morehead State University. No one would dare pass up a recognition of the alumni of Morehead when you come to talk about its heritage. Presidents come and go. Faculties come and go. Staffs go more quickly sometimes than the faculty does. But the people who went across the stage to receive a diploma from the president and the dean or the vice president of that day constitute the heritage of this university. And when some people talk about what a failure education in America has been, or what a failure education in Kentucky has been, I cannot resist the opportunity of reciting the names of so many of you who are here tonight and others who could not come. If this institution failed, it failed because of what you did after you left it. And if it has great heritage today, that heritage has been written by you after you left the university. Many of you have done that. And today, to be recognized by the alumni of this university, to be inscribed in the Alumni Association Hall of Fame, and to be recognized with these two other distinguished alumni, it's a great honor to me. Mark got carried away with himself a little bit, and I didn't know what he was going to tell before he got through, and I might have to call on Sonny to refute some of it. But those were great days. They've been great days since. When we came here in 1954, the Alumni Association was a struggling and almost non-existent institution. Agnes Williams and Mary Alice Jane, as president and secretary, were keeping tongue and groove together and little more. When one graduated from the university and went home, he soon forgot what happened to him during his college days, or her. I knew Fola Hayes because he was principal of Camargo High School when I was principal of Wingo High School. And so I persuaded Fola to become president of the Alumni Association. And he is the first individual who put his shoulder to the wheel and put his hand to the plow. He pushed and pulled and tugged and never looked back. And I think from that period of time, you grew to be what you are now. And you hold up the light of learning here and service where you are. I think higher education is passing through one of the most critical periods of the history of this Commonwealth. Dr. Eaglin is faced with decisions that I did not have to make. You're called upon for a body of support that I did not have to call upon anybody to give. And I want to say to you as alumni tonight, you forget what the governor's doing to the University of Kentucky, if he's doing anything. But you concentrate on what's going to be done to Morehead State University. And you keep informed. And you let Dr. Eaglin know that you're there and you're ready. Because if the time comes in the next year in which all of the regional universities are placed under a super board, and you go to California to hire a chancellor who doesn't even know where Hitchens is, and he sits in Frankfurt, and presidents go with knees bent and heads bowed to get what little is he's willing to dose out, it'll be a sad day. Don't you let any legislature, don't you let any governor, and I mean let advisedly, don't you let them destroy the regionalism that exists in eastern Kentucky, in central Kentucky, and in western Kentucky. I don't have a dog in this fight except you're my dog. I've already said my say, I've already paid my dues, but I want to encourage you to take up the banner, take up the fight, and raise that torch high enough that the least observant of this land can see it, and let it shine so brightly that those in the dimmest corners of this Commonwealth shall see that you represent Morehead State University, and that you and I, Mark, are in the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. President Eaglin now will make some special presentations.
I hate to follow Adrienne Dorn. I said I'd never do it again. And Mr. President, it always happens. I'll never learn my lesson. We're going to give some special awards out here in just a few moments, but I want to tell you why we created the award and use a few moments to say why it is so important to us and how pleasant, or how the pleasure that we have of giving these awards to former members or former recipients of the Hall of Fame recognition. I've had the opportunity to meet every president who is still alive, who has served this institution, starting with Dr. Dorn, right on through to Dr. Grody, who is in the back of the room. I've had the opportunity to meet with faculty and students and alumni that span 50 or more years of this wonderful institution. We are a very special place. Linda and Mark, I can't tell you what it means to me to hear you speak about here. It does bring a tear to your eye. It does bring a tear to your eye, and you've said it too. This is a special place. And you're right, good doctor. We don't want that to ever go away by some bureaucrat sitting in Lexington pontificating about what is needed in Eastern Kentucky. We know what's needed in Eastern Kentucky, and we're the ones that can make a difference. And I pledge to you that will not happen while I'm at the helm. This is a special day, Founders Day. But I had a dream about 18 months ago that we were approaching an anniversary, a 75th anniversary. I have an envelope that was given to me earlier from the 50th anniversary. Let me hand it to me, would you, Suzette? You remember this? Now, I swear to goodness, I had not seen this before. But someone enlightened thought of this much before I did, 25 years before I did, that we needed to rally around a birthday. The 75th, in this case, the 50th. And so I asked, as you always have to do as president, if there was interest out there to help me and help this community come together with a celebration that wouldn't last just one day, but would last an entire year. And so I called upon a recently retired faculty member who we have this wonderful way here of giving people early retirement. That means we pay them half pay and work them full time. And Sue Lucky, stand up, Sue, for the third time today, Sue Lucky took that job and put it together. And earlier we had everyone else stand up that was on that committee, Terry and all the others. But go ahead and stand up, the rest of you, my Lord. Let's get you up there. You're getting tired of sitting, so get up. Thank you. This day was the kickoff. I was excited about the kickoff, the anticipation. Well, we kicked the ball off this morning at 7:30 with breakfasts and watches and all the recognition of wonderful people who gave their life of service to this institution. And I won't go through the whole litany of what we've done today, but many of you have sat through this and have heard me speak about it 3 times or 4 times. We're at the end of a day, and we're going to give out this award, which they want me to explain. We're at the end of that day, but we're at the beginning of the year. One of our goals was to have anyone who has been touched by this university, as a student, as an alum, as a staff member, as a faculty member, as a relative of anyone who has been touched by this university, to come back and visit us over this year. Now, you already have your checks. Some of you have 3 or 4 checks. You've been to a lot of things. But we want you back. We want you back into the fold. We want you to think about us, and we want to celebrate in you. Now, one award that we wanted to give, we wanted to create, and can one of you reach over and hand that to me? Now, this isn't Steuben, because we're not Harvard. But the meaning is here. We created a special award that we wanted to give in recognition of persons who have served us or been recognized in the past. And we wanted to take this occasion, and we did it this afternoon, with those persons who have been fellows and others who have served this institution. And tonight we want to do it with former recipients of the Hall of Fame Award. So if you bear with us, because they're all worth the time, we're going to call their names out. We're going to choreograph a picture right here in front. Bill's going to do the calling. I'm going to do the handshaking and giving it out. But isn't this a beautiful little piece? And as I said, it's not from the big glass companies, but it has the same feeling in it. The same feeling in it, even if it had come from there. So, Bill, that's what it's all about. We're going to do it right now, and I get to talk even later. Aren't you lucky?
Thank you, President. We have three groups that we're going to recognize right now with this award, and that's past presidents of the Alumni Association, former inductees into the Alumni Hall of Fame, and former inductees into the Athletic Hall of Fame. I think I have a good list of everyone that's here. If I miss someone, please raise your hand and let me know, because we don't want to overlook you. The first one is John E. Sonny Allen, Alumni Hall of Fame 1980 and Athletic Hall of Fame 1985. Merle Allen, Alumni President 1982 to 84. Sherman Arnett, Alumni Hall of Fame 1966. Colonel William E. Barber, Alumni Hall of Fame 1990. Harold Bellamy, Alumni Hall of Fame 1980. W. David Bolt, Alumni President 1984 to 86 and Alumni Hall of Fame 1987. Lisa Browning, Alumni President 1988 to 90. John Collis, Alumni President 1952 to 53. Dale Greer, Alumni Hall of Fame 1976. The next two individuals both were recognized at lunch, so I'm going to ask them to just stand where they are so we can give them a round of applause. Dr. C. Nelson Grody, Alumni Hall of Fame, 1993. And Billy Joe Hall, Alumni Hall of Fame, 1967. Steve Hamilton, Athletic Hall of Fame, 1985. Dr. Paul Maddox, Alumni Hall of Fame, 1966. Terry McBrayer, Alumni Hall of Fame, 1966, President, 1973-74. Former coach Guy Penny, Athletic Hall of Fame, 1989. James P. Pruitt, Alumni President, 1980-82, and Alumni Hall of Fame, 1982. Custer Bull of the Buckhorn Reynolds, Alumni President, 1974-75, Alumni Hall of Fame, 1972, and Athletic Hall of Fame, 1988. Lucian Rice, Alumni President, 1965-70, and Alumni Hall of Fame, 1970. Frank Robertson, Athletic Hall of Fame, 1994. The Honorable Janet Stumbo, Alumni Hall of Fame, 1990. Robert Mickey Wells, Athletic Hall of Fame, 1995. And Harold Wilson, Alumni President, 1979-80. We have one late addition that missed lunch today, Mr. John Baird, a former regent. He's already gone. Is there anyone from the Alumni Hall of Fame or Athletic Hall of Fame that we've missed? I think we got everybody as you came in, but I want to make sure. Great. Thank you all so much for being here.
Now we will be entertained by opera works directed by Roma Prindle. Roma?
We're going to go to the Totally Ridiculous now. We're doing some scenes from our spring production. It's really a collection of scenes from different operas that are either written in, about, or pertaining to Paris. We're calling it April in Paris. And there are different operas represented. Some are by Offenbach and others by Franz Lehar. The Tales of Hoffmann, La Pericole, and The Merry Widow. So we have 4 scenes here for you, and these center about things that you see or might participate in Paris, including romance, good food, good wine, and loose women. So we hope you'll come to our performance on April 29th.
Thank you so much. Another superb job. Thank you. Dr. Reagan, you have your chance to finish your remarks.
Well, let me thank all of you, those of you who have been here with us the whole day. We certainly have appreciated it. I'm going to make my remarks very, very short. I have talked about the 75th anniversary. There is a brochure that you can get. I think they're outside the door. On your tables, all right, on your tables, that have a lot of the activities on them. There will be a very special activity. I don't have my glasses either, and this is awful small, but I am going to make it. It's May 10th. If you look on there and look at May 10th, because many times Dr. Dorn has got to come up here and speak and do the things, and he's so good at it. But I think he'd be the first to admit he wouldn't be near where he is if it hadn't been for Manon. And we have Manon Dorn Appreciation Day on May the 10th, and that will be your day all day long. And there are many, many activities in here, and I hope you look this over. President Grody and President Dorn and Linda and Mark, thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts with us. And thank all of you, and let's have a great year. It's going to be a great year, and I hope to see you many times. Thank you.
We have a special announcement. I would like to have Molly Caldwell come forward. Molly. Please do not forget to pick up your little 75th anniversary buttons. They're at your place settings.
I just want to say good evening to everybody and congratulations to the 3 new inductees in the Alumni Hall of Fame. And I just have something little I want to tell you about. So, standing at the threshold of tomorrow, we can easily see the items that define the present. However, with the passing of time, it is those very items that are soon forgotten. That is why the Student Alumni Ambassadors are assembling a time capsule for the 75th anniversary of Morehead State University for future generations to share. In an attempt to bring students and alumni together, we will be spending the next year collecting items and ideas for the time capsule from all student organizations, alumni, and also from the faculty and staff. We sincerely hope that this time capsule will embody the diversity that encompasses Morehead State University. We have provided a suggestion box in order for you to share some of your ideas. When the students, faculty, and alumni of MSU open the time capsule at the 100th anniversary of this institution of higher learning, we anticipate their finding a Morehead different in substance but not in principle. Thank you for attending the Founders Day celebration, and please remember to fill out a suggestion sheet because without your help, this project will not be possible. Thank you.
The President will be unlocking the Heritage Room. Many of you may not have had an opportunity to see it. It will be unlocked after the program tonight. You may want to go back to the Heritage Room. In closing, this has been a wonderful day. So many things, so many memories. As a fuzzy-headed freshman that came to this campus in 1959, Morehead did so much for me. As these recipients indicated, I don't know where I would have been today if it hadn't been for Morehead State. People, names come to me such as Warren Lappin, Roger Wilson, Dean Saunders, Special Lady, Nell Harding. I was always in trouble with Nell. She was the dorm marm at Allie Young Hall, and the girls had to be in at 9 o'clock. So I had difficulty there. Dean Mays, Gabriel Banks, Keith Huffman, John Garton, Octavia Graves, Alan Lake, Guy Penny, Fred Marzon. I'm just mentioning some of the individuals that I had my freshman year. This brings back so many memories to me, just to be here today and to hear everything that has gone on. I'd like to give a brief preview of Don Flatt's book, and it will be on sale. It is on sale now, $29.95. If you want to order it at the bookstore, we are putting in a plug for that right now. But in 1922, there was a special commission that was to investigate normal schools. November 25th, 1922, 8 individuals met in Lexington, Kentucky, and they were to make the determination where this normal school in eastern Kentucky would be. 4 were voting for Paintsville, 4 were voting for Morehead. They voted back and forth 5 or so times. In the 6th vote, they finally voted 5-3 to place the university, or the normal school at that time, here at Morehead State University that we know today. As the years passed, our 7th president came to the university, as Bill indicated, October 22nd, 1954. President Dorn said at his inauguration, in considering this institution of higher education in particular, its past, its present, its future, I am reminded of a poem. God has provided a wonderful place called a land of beginning again, where all our mistakes, our headaches, and our poor selfish griefs may be dropped like a shabby old coat at the door and never to be put on again. He went on to say, we look upon Morehead as that place, and this day as a part of a period of beginning again. It was President Dorn's goal. He said, we at Morehead State College shall endeavor to provide a place for the development of accomplishments and traits of character by the students, as well as skills and the accumulation of knowledge. I never did hear him say that. All I heard was, there's a bus going east and there's a bus going west. But I want to end tonight with, this is a wonderful place, and it is a place of beginning again. And I want to thank you all. Good night.
The 3 inductees, Dr. Eaglin and Jack, we need you here for a photograph before everybody cuts out.